Welcome back. Oh, this is the usual sign. I'm sorry. So today I came to the realization that you have been misled. I'm sorry. Yeah. So I want to explain something like very, 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 very basic. Remember, my new approach is going back to basics, right? So for those of you that have visited my channel on YouTube and you have actually watched some of my videos, you will remember that there's a video that I made last year, which is called something like Nutrition, Not Dogma. All right, so unfortunately, nutrition has become more, and is becoming, as we speak, more and more like a matter of dogma than actual science. All right, and that is the reason why there's like an opening for so many different nutritional approaches. And yes, of course, like human beings are not there. We are not identically the same. In the sense that we have all different lifestyles, we have different stress levels, we have different sleeping patterns, we have different, like barometric pressure, whatever. I mean, and all of that will affect our energy needs, okay? So, our nourishment needs, like that goes for macronutrients being the carbohydrates, the proteins, and the fats, and for micronutrients as well, being the minerals, the vitamins, trace elements, and so on. Okay, so I just want to simplify things again. Now, there is a pretty good chance that you watching now or you watching later have tried, Dr. Bernstein, the keto diet, the, vegan, vegetarian, like Weight Watchers. You've tried like the pH neutral, the alkaline diet, the whatever, the South Beach diet, the points diet, all of them, okay? And all of them rely on some scientific facts, some. But the truth of the matter is that we are all, as human beings, we do have some basic needs and we have some basic reactions to everything that we eat. Everything, when you break things down, and I'm being overly simplistic, into your proteins, carbohydrates, and fats, when you ingest those together or separately, your body is going to react to, as I said, we're not like 100% identical, but for the most part we are, where we're pretty similar in general, right? So this is the simplest way to explain some of those reactions. I mean, you eat something, we're going to get relief, like the brain and the anticipation and all that good stuff that is going to just add some more variables to the equation that are not necessarily relevant to the point that I want to get across. But proteins, carbohydrates, and fats will trigger some reactions in your body. Simple as that, okay? As the minute that you think of eating, from the minute that they leave your body, they actually act differently. So you need like different, hormones are going to be released in like greater or lesser degree. Some like neurotransmitters are going to be involved. What else? Like the water content and all that stuff. But for all we care right now, we're going to talk about insulin once again. So when you eat, your body's role is to break down what you eat into the most basic absorbable components or molecules. Let me call it that. All right. So the carbohydrates are going to be mostly turning to sugar for energy, basically. All right, good, which is a good thing. Okay, so into glycogen and glucose. Ultimately, the proteins, for the most part, I'm just being like oversimplistic. So the proteins are going to be broken down into amino acids and peptides, and the fats are going to be broken down into fatty acids, right? In the midst of that process right there, when you eat them, one of the main, so they go to your stomach and whatnot, and then some hormones are going to aid in that process. One of them being insulin, as I said before. So insulin is particularly relevant for to regulate blood sugar levels. All right, so that probably you've heard me say before. Now, each one of those nutrients will, regardless of what you believe in, regardless of how dogmatic you are about your nutrition, they will trigger some reactions in your body. Okay? That's it. Now, I've made a, once again, very, very, very simple graph here. I don't know if you can appreciate it, but it's insulin level on this axis and time, all right? It doesn't matter. This can be seconds or minutes, and this can be millimoles per deciliter, whatever it is. It really doesn't matter what it is at this point. And then there is a very, like a bell type of graph here that shows, or that shows how your insulin levels will react to carbohydrate intake. All right, not all carbohydrates being equal. That's the other thing. There's, again, I'm being very simplistic here. No, we're not going to talk about monosaccharides and polysaccharides and all that stuff. We're going to talk about carbs in general. All right, so your blood sugar is going to spike. Your insulin level is going to raise just to come and aid to metabolize that and once again level your blood sugar levels. Okay, so that's your carbs. Then comes your protein. Okay, so the protein, the leaner the protein, the more it will have a similar effect to this. The fattier the protein, just because fat, as you will see eventually, actually has the opposite effect on insulin levels, the more it's going to look like this, like the lower one. All right, so protein will somehow raise your insulin levels. Depends on the leaner, the more bioavailable, like for example whey protein, which is very popular amongst bodybuilders and athletes and things like that. It's very, very, it's 100% bioavailable. Actually, it's 120%, 121. I think it's more bioavailable than egg, which is the gold standard. So this, and it's very lean, this is going to raise your insulin levels even more than, for example, a piece of steak. Okay? Then comes fats. All right, so the fats they have a minimal impact on your blood sugar level. So fat, when it's broken down, it excites, your blood sugar and your insulin levels the least. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is that you can use all of this information to your advantage, whether you are a bodybuilder or an athlete, and actually athletes like endurance athletes, strength athletes, hypertrophy athletes, they use that to their advantage all the time. Well, the good ones, the committed ones, the ones that do their due diligence, the ones that are relevant in the industry, all right? Now, this same thing applies to men and women. Not to say that some people are going to be more carb sensitive, some people are going to be more fat adapted. I mean, you're not identical to your brother or to your sister. However, as a human being, this, for the most part, is going to happen equally, to everyone. So what I'm trying to get across is be mindful of what you eat, when you eat, and how much you eat, okay? And I'm not talking calories. That's a whole lot of nonsense, that is been perpetuated by, trainers, dietitians, and even endocrinologists. But, you want to make sure that, one, what you eat is real food. Number two, that you favor, depending on your goal, okay, if you're like an endurance runner or cyclist, you may want to just do more of the complex carbs so that they absorb, you have more than one source of fuel, all right? So, and then when that goes out, when you can rely on ketones, for example, for the long run, that kind of thing. If you are looking to slim down, you want to have very, very skim quantities of carbohydrates, especially simple carbs, okay? Anyways, I mean, that's a different conversation. That's what you called me for, eventually, to tailor this to your needs. Okay, so that's all I want to say today. I hope this was somehow informative, and I hope this actually helps you open your eyes. And regardless of the alkaline or the this or the keto or the vegan or the carnivore, you need to find the right nutrient or macronutrient ratio so that it suits your need. Okay, because your body will react to those macronutrients in a very unique way, but it applies to human beings in general, more or less, but it's the same type of reaction. Okay, stay tuned.